Lewis Art for the Ring magazine. Delighted today to join with Skye Nicolson here. Return July 5th. It's good to be speaking to you. Skye, how's things? It's been a while, but I guess how has things been?
Yeah, it's been good. I've kind of like stayed away from all the media stuff, so I thought I'd better jump on for a chat, a little
Yeah.
catch up. But no, it's been really, really good. I've just kind of had my head down in camp. Um, Excited to get back in the ring.
Well, I do appreciate you coming on to chat. Yeah, as you say, it's been a bit quiet from you recently. Would you say it's been intentional? Just sort of getting head
Yeah.
down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it has been intentional. I feel like there was a lot of talk, a lot of hype, a lot of expectation, and I've kind of just tried to dial all that back, focus on myself, do some inner work, some mental preparation, look at where things went wrong, and yeah, right those wrongs moving forward. Yeah, I think maybe just taking a little step back and not being so in the spotlight all the time will actually be good for me. So yeah, I've kind of just been enjoying the process again and working on being the best version of me.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to get into, but we'll firstly touch on the Tiara Brown fight. Look, we caught up directly after that. But yeah, I guess sort of it's been what trying to think. It's been quite a while since then. It's almost what 3 months, I want to say.
Yeah, coming up three
Yeah,
months.
yeah, come up
Yeah,
3 months. Yeah,
about
I'm
10
sure.
weeks or so. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Don't want to remind you, obviously, but yeah. How would you say things have been since then? Like, how have you accepted it, processed sort of the first career defeat? I guess as difficult as it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been ups and downs, a bit of a roller coaster of emotions. Days where I feel like I'm really good and I'm like at peace with it, and then other days where like I'm a bit more down and thinking about it a little bit more. But I think for me, it was all about kind of pinpointing what went wrong and where I went wrong, and I guess making those small adjustments to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Um, Yeah, I don't make any excuses, and like I said when we spoke directly after the fight, like
Mm.
well done to Tiara. She had a good performance. I didn't have a good performance. And it is what it is. So now my full focus is just on yeah, being better. Getting those things that I had gotten wrong and making them right. So yeah, little things, little tweaks, but little tweaks that are going to make a big difference.
Yeah, look, in the actions, I'm sure there would have been time where it hadn't gone your way. Professionally, it's always a little bit different. There's always sort of more consequence that comes with it and that. And this obviously is the first one in what's since the Olympics. So it's been about 4 years. So,
Yeah.
that's not a feeling you've been used to. So, I guess how did you deal with that feeling of defeat in a way where, you know, it's hard to it's hard. It must have been hard to accept, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it of course it was hard. It hurt. But I think the best thing I could do with that hurt and that pain was to learn and grow from it. Um, Cliche as it is, a loss is a lesson. Um, you either win or you learn, and I feel like I've learned so much about myself. Um, I'm grateful for the setback. I'm grateful for, I guess, the opportunity to look deeper within, and eventually, and the result from that will be a better me. So, yeah, it has been hard. It did hurt. It was, no one wants to lose.
Mm.
um, but I've learned a lot about myself from it, and I think it's going to make me a better person, a better athlete, a better fighter, and that's what I'm focused on now.
Do you feel like, especially when you look at the fight specifically, do you feel like it's also a case of, throughout your pro career, it was sort of, you were barely dropping around. So then have a fight where, it's almost sort of it's swinging in the balance. It's, you're not
Mm,
too sure. Do you think it comes as a surprise when you do face adversity when it's something that you haven't faced for some time?
I think so. I think there is such a big jump between like the lower level girls and the top level girls in professional boxing, because it is a sport that is still very much in its infancy, and it doesn't have the depth there. Um, but I was well prepared for Tiara to be a hard fight. It's not like I got in there and was shocked by anything. Um, I wasn't myself on the night. Again, I'm not making excuses, but it was probably my worst performance and probably her best performance, arguably. Um, and I lost on a split decision. So, yeah, like for me, I wasn't shocked by anything. I wasn't my best self in there, and I think that's what made it harder to accept and hurt more because I did expect a lot more from myself, and I know my capabilities, and um, that for me was hard. Um, but yeah, I feel like tiny tweaks, tiny tweaks, and that outcome would have been very different. And future outcomes will be very different because I've learned from that experience now.
Is the rematch? Would you say that's not the viable option anytime soon? Then, like for yourself?
Um, that was immediately the main um, goal, obviously, to win back the title. And it probably will be a dark cloud that looms over me until I do get that rematch. But Tiara's made it very clear she doesn't want a rematch. She's had a lot to say in interviews since the fight. She's blocked me on social media. Um, so we're not entertaining that. I'm focusing on me, I'm focusing on my career, and I know that that rematch will be there. Um, and when that happens, I will be 100% mentally and physically prepared for that. But as for now, I really just want to be active again. Obviously, fighting in title fights, I wasn't boxing as often. I've kind of just like sat down with the team and said, I want to be fighting as often as I can. I don't care about how early I am on the slot. I don't care how small the show is. I don't care where in the world the show is. Um, all I care about is getting that ring time again, getting the ball rolling, and trying to be really active. I'm naturally sitting a little bit lighter. You
Yeah.
probably have seen and heard a couple of things about me moving to super bantamweight. So this little 8 rounder in Manchester is a bit of a taste tester there. We're going to have the fight at 124 pounds, so 2 pounds above championship weight, and see how that feels. But so far, I feel like it's going to be a great move for me. It almost feels like I've been boxing upper weight my whole career to this point.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually going to my true weight division. So I'm actually really excited about this. I feel it feels like a new chapter for me in so many ways. Obviously not just the weight change, but um, coming off the defeat and the tweaks and changes that we've made with with the team and my progress and the preparation. So I'm very excited for that. And I feel like for me right now, I just want to be active and yeah, and get back to winning ways.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Look, when people do face defeat, sometimes their head can go, they can sort of make all knee-jerk changes and they don't know what to
Mm.
do. I don't think that was a case of you. Was it important saying, look, I still trust in my team even though it didn't go the way.
Yeah.
It's only minor things that need to be switched up.
Yeah, so for me, like we had an amazing camp for the last fight. I didn't feel like my physical preparation in the boxing gym, the S&C, everything I was doing with Brad and Ed, Al Smith, in the S&C gym with Sonny Cannon, that was all like spot on. I was very physically prepared for the fight. I think areas that lacked preparation going into that fight was a lot more mental preparation. Um, and something that I have highlighted as probably being a big part of something that was missing from my preparation, and something that's definitely being worked on now. So
Mm.
I feel really good about that, and I feel really confident that that's going to make a great difference to my performances. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, you mentioned the mental side there, and even like if you talk about look, sort of having the people around you. I know even after defeat, you spent time with your family, spent time with friends, and that. How important was that to know that you have like a cohesive support around you, even when times that you need them probably the most?
Yeah, to be honest, I honestly feel like I had more love after my first loss than I had from all my wins. So, um, the boxing community, my own personal community, friends and family, like have definitely showed out. There's been a lot of love, a lot of support, and life is so much bigger than boxing, so
Yeah.
much bigger than the O, so much bigger than wins and losses and titles, and yeah. So I feel very lucky. I've got really, really good people around me. I have so many people that love and support me and back me, win, lose, or draw. So, um, I think that's a nice feeling and a nice thing to know as well, coming off a defeat when you're getting back in the ring again. It takes off a little bit of that extra weight, I think, the pressure and stuff that comes with having the O. So I feel like my performances moving forward will probably see a less cautious me, which I'm excited for as well. I feel like there was a lot of pressure on me, and there was not even necessarily outside pressure, but pressure from myself as well. And to have had that defeat and um, dealt with it the way I have and grown from it the way I have, I feel like um, it's only going to make me a better fighter now.
It's interesting you say that. You said more people message you for a loss than they win. Like, and it's because it's funny you say that because I remember Cordina said something similar to me after the
Mm.
Kakache fight, and I'm sure I think Fraser Clark said the same thing after Wardley. Like, how do you view that? Like, is that a bit of a weird one? Like, because it's like it's a nice thing, but it's also like, well,
It is
not like
nice.
I don't know. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think people feel more inclined to reach out when someone's
yeah.
hurt or down.
Mm,
Um, and maybe they just think when someone wins it'll get lost amongst the sea of messages and stuff flooding in,
yeah,
which there's always love and support, don't get me wrong.
yeah.
But I did feel like I received more positive
Mm.
um messages and comments and stuff um when I lost than when I've won, which is a mad
Yeah.
one. But social media is another thing. Like I feel like it's been a bit of a learning curve, but
Mm,
it does affect me, and I feel like that's something that um going into future fights, I'm not going to be on social media during fight week.
mm,
Someone in my team will be doing my fight week posts and stuff for me. I think
mm,
it's very easy to get swept up in opinions and comments, and social media is just so full of negative stuff as well. There's so many great things about social media, but I just feel like sometimes the negative stuff really does just like stand out to someone.
mm.
Um, so for me, yeah, I deleted the Twitter app or X app off my
Yeah.
phone a couple of months ago, and I haven't gone back on. I really don't miss it at all.
Yeah.
And I don't really have any plans to go back on that, to be
Yeah.
honest. But Instagram, I have an amazing community on Instagram, and I
Mm,
love keeping everyone updated on Instagram
mm,
with day-to-day training camp, and of course like fight week and stuff as well. So um, that's going to be done for me, which I think
yeah.
again will be just really good for me mentally going into a fight. Clear mind, just focus on the job.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Well, I guess we'll touch on to July 5th, the return. And I guess with how March went and sort of future fights now, you spoke about sort of being a little bit sort of more fearless now. Yeah,
Yeah.
you must be more hungry than ever to return back at like a new beginning to say. Like it's so cliche, but you could say like, oh, it's like the Sky
No,
2.0 or something like
yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah,
actually how it feels. That is how it
yeah.
feels. It feels like a new beginning. It feels like a new chapter. And I'm really, really excited. I feel like everything I'm doing in the gym, we're just building off the last camp again. And even though it's not a training camp for a world title fight, I'm performing even better than I was in my last camp. And I feel like every camp I'm going to get better. So yeah, I just feel like we're only adding to my game, and yeah, I think the experience of the loss is going to only elevate me even higher.
Mm. Well, I think one thing that I say, we talk about changing it, come at a little bit of a surprise for me, obviously, to see potential move down, as you mentioned earlier, to super bantamweight.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I guess what led to this decision and what led it to feel like, look, I feel like sort of I can make 122 pounds safely as well.
Yeah, so for me, I've never really struggled to make 126 as a
Mm,
professional. Um, and I think as my lifestyle has kind of adapted over the last couple of years in professional boxing, I've stayed in shape outside of camps, and building on camp. I feel like my body has naturally changed, my lifestyle has naturally changed. I like training outside of camp and things like that. Whereas I used to just blow up, eat lots of shit, get really unfit.
mm,
And then the first few weeks of training camp was literally just getting off the extra weight and getting some fitness back. Whereas I'm starting camp in a place where I'm already fit. My weight's good. I haven't blown up and got fat and unfit. So that was kind of the thought process around it. Also, last camp, I was walking around throughout training camp day to day, um, around 62 kilos. I don't know what that is
yeah.
in pounds. Sorry.
I'm trying to. I can't. I'm not too sure. Yeah,
Maybe like 140-ish.
yeah. I'll convert it to say 62 kilo. I'll convert it now.
Yeah.
kg. Pounds. It's 136 pounds. So
Yeah.
that's
So
like
that was like
10
my
pounds
walk
above.
around. That was like my walk
Yeah.
around weight, 136 pounds,
Mm,
last camp. And since coming back from the Tiara Brown fight, I kept my body ticking over. I kept eating healthy, not like restrictive at all, but I didn't blow out the way I have after previous fights. So I'm walking around in camp now around 59 kilos, which is about 128 pounds.
yeah.
129 pounds, and I feel really, really good for it. I'm eating so much more food, like really fueling my training. I feel really fit and strong, but I also feel a lot like lighter on my feet, and I feel like I'm actually training at the weight I should have been training at all along. Um, and yeah, I'm really excited about this move because like I said before, I feel like I've probably been boxing up a weight division my whole career, and now I'm actually going to be boxing
Yeah.
where I'm physically meant to be boxing. So yeah, I feel like it's a new chapter, a new challenge that I'm really excited for, and um, look out, Super Bantam division.
That's what I say. Like how? Because I know you've always spoke about before about being sort of a bit of a light, like be a bit of a
Yeah.
not a light featherweight in a sense. So you know, how would you say it was just after this, or was it something that you always said, look, Super Bantam's definitely going to be there?
I will be honest, I had been told by numerous people throughout my first couple of years as a pro that I should be boxing at super bantamweight. And I
Mm.
kind of just laughed it off, and I always have been a massive foodie. I still am. But um it was kind of always a almost a but why would I go down a weight when I can win at this weight?
Yeah,
And probably a little bit of a an arrogant mindset in that sense. And I feel like I might have been missing an opportunity, um, and letting an opportunity slide because really I probably should have started at super bantam and then worked my way up that way. So we're kind of doing it a different way. There's not many world champions that end up going down a weight division.
yeah.
Um, but I'm excited for the challenge. I think it's going to be a great move for me. And we'll hopefully be in world title contention before the end of the year. So yeah, I'm excited.
That was my next question, I guess. Like, how do you feel like the route back to the world title is it 122 pounds? We know that there's a unification going on July 11th, obviously
Mhm.
between Mikado and Scotney.
Yeah.
Ellie is someone who's obviously called your name out before in her last
Hmm.
fight. I guess like you must have one eye on that fight in MSG.
Of course I do. But for me right now, obviously it's all about being active, getting back in the ring. I want to be fighting more often. I had 6 months out before that fight against Tiara Brown. I felt like it was too long. And again, something that we've kind of flagged amongst my team as something that does negatively affect performance for me. So it's all about being active right now. We've got this 8 rounder on July 5th. We're hoping to get out again maybe twice in the summer if we can. Um, I've literally asked for like any opportunity, just to get out. I don't care if I'm on at 4 p.m. I don't care. Like none of it matters. I literally just want to box.
Yeah.
Small money, I don't care. Like I need ring time. Um, so yeah, all of that will prep me and get me into position um to hopefully be in contention for a world title by the end of the year. Whether that's Scotney or someone else, obviously I'd love the Ellie Scotney fight. And she obviously fancied the fight herself. She called me out after her last fight, I think it was.
Yeah.
Um, but I think she was probably expecting that fight to be at featherweight. I'm interested to see what her interest would be in a fight at super bantamweight, if she stays there or if she's going to move up. But yeah, I'll definitely have a close eye on the unification fight in July.
That's what I was going to say. I guess you must recognise sort of when it comes to super bantamweight, Scotney's probably the main one there. Obviously,
Yeah,
being a semi like domestic clash in a sense. So like
yeah,
there is that the enticement from the UK fans that definitely would want to see that fight.
yeah, 100%.
Mhm. Just before I do let you go, I did want to ask you about July 11th as well. Look,
Yeah,
I'm sure you're very happy at Matchroom, and happy with everything that's going there, the opportunity you've got. Obviously, you boxed on, I'm right in saying you boxed on the first Taylor Serrano card.
yeah.
Um, but you must look at July 11th and see like everyone who's on the card, be like, cool, it would have been great to be involved in something like that.
I think it's an amazing card and it's amazing what they're doing. Um, I've never really been a big fan of the all women's fight cards. I
Okay,
don't really like the
okay,
separation of women's and men's boxing, but obviously it's amazing to see so many women having an opportunity to box on Netflix and everything as well. It's huge. But
Mhm.
yeah, I've never been a super fan of separating the two. I feel like it's
Yeah,
boxing. It's not men's boxing or women's boxing. It's boxing. So um but yeah, I'll definitely be watching the show. Whether I go or I watch it at home, I'm not sure yet because obviously like I said to you, we're trying to stay
yeah,
active and um,
yeah,
if there is another opportunity that arises for me to box again soon after Manchester, then I'll probably be straight back in the gym. But if not, I'll definitely make the trip and be there. I've got a few friends on the undercard as well as obviously supporting Katie. So yeah, we'll see. But no, it's going to be a great card and it's going to be a great show for women's
yeah.
boxing.
Yeah. Well, if you are in New York for that, you got to stay over and go to the July 12th card as well at Flushing Meadows with the Ring magazine. So yeah,
Naturally, of
yeah,
course.
yeah, exactly.
Of
Cool.
course.
Yeah, but look, Skye, appreciate you taking time to speak to me. It's good to be here from you again. And
Thanks,
yeah,
Lewis.
excited for the return on July 5th at a new weight and yeah, Skye 2.0. So look, I appreciate
Yes.
it. Thank you.
Can't
Cheers.
wait. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Thank you.